welcome to this week with Retro as we talk the latest in film and entertainment and box office with Retro Nerd Girl. How's it going?
I'm good. I'm doing well. A little tired, but you know what? I'm ready for these conversations that we're about to have. One of them might be a
Definitely.
long rant.
Oh, well, Retro's fired up, so we definitely got to get this going. And since we're, headed towards the weekend here, we got to do the box office battle. Box office battle. Oh my! This box office battle edition is going to be an interesting conversation. So coming from last weekend, the previous weekend, it was all about Joker, Folly I Do, the Joker sequel. Todd Phillips, Joaquin Phoenix, Lady Gaga, $200 million budget, only $40 million domestically, $120 globally. So international is getting it.
Okay.
China should release next week as well.
Okay.
And then, of course, we talked about Wild Robot last week and Beetlejuice. I guess what's the standout from last week, Retro? I guess it's the Joker story, right?
Yeah. Seems like a lot of people just dislike this movie, especially in the context of just the DC of it. And which I was under the impression from the first movie that this was like just Todd Phillips, kind of idea of a Joker-like character, not necessarily the Joker. And some people were saying that even this second movie, he's not even congruent with the first movie. So that's what I've been hearing. And yeah, there's like an internet like fight over it. And I'm like, look, the people who like the movie, let them like it, and the people who don't like it, let them not like it.
No, Retro. No, those are not the rules. If I don't like it, I gotta make you not like it. Or if I like it, you have to like it. That's the rules.
Yes. We all know the rules.
It is tough though, seeing that cinema score a D. It's rare we get a score that low.
Yeah.
So that's one thing. The $1 billion franchise, it's weird.
Yeah, it's very interesting because like a D score really is for something that has low production quality. I can see the production quality is excellent in this film. The color grading, the singing, the acting looks like it's on top. And this is just from the outside. The most you would have problem with this definitely story, or if you don't like the way the story is going, and that would giving it a C would be like just like, hey, it was just really atrocious. You give a D to something that doesn't have any production value at all.
Yeah, because in this film, because I got a chance to see it, and I would say acting, like performances, like this isn't like a bunch of bad performances. So that's why I'm like just really floored by the discourse. Joaquin Phoenix was bringing it. He was bringing it in this movie. So, like you said, it's about the story. In a weird way, I just had a recent stream about this that if this film could be like a commentary, or Todd Phillips is like, the joke's on us as the viewers. Like, this isn't going to go the way you want it to go. This story really, I guess a short way to say it. The first film, Joker wasn't supposed to be some kind of hero.
Right.
And I think Todd Phillips was like, okay, y'all want me to do this sequel so bad and throw all this money at me. I want to make sure you see that, hey, he doesn't even think he's a hero. And, I don't know if you heard about the ending, but, it's not going to be a sequel. It's not going to be another. It's not going to be
another one, right? Yeah. Can't be unless somebody, does some kind of magic. But I mean, I did hear about the ending. I heard about some of the lore breaking things that was in there, and I don't think ever Todd was trying ever mention anything about being in lore, but also I can see how people were like using the first film as sort of like, oh, this is, this is the Joker I've always wanted. And then now, like, to
Mm,
have the deconstruction of that character kind of
right.
like be like, oh, you ruined it.
That's the
So,
thing. Then
yeah.
what I'm seeing most people, because I like the creative choices Todd
Hmm.
Phillips did with this. I mean, this is a type of film where, hey, if I see it's playing, if I'm scrolling the channels and on TNT or something that's playing Joker, Folly I Do, I'm like, oh, let me watch. The cinematography is great. The
Yeah, it looks
performance,
beautiful.
you get to it's a point in the film where Arthur Fleck dons the Joker makeup in the courtroom, and it's a riveting scene, and
Mm.
Joaquin Phoenix is like eating it up,
Oh
and
my God.
it just I don't know, it just no one liked the turn after that. I mean, it is a turn for the character, it makes sense, but what I'm thinking though, Retro, at the end of the first film, like you said, a lot of people was like, oh, like this is the Joker, and I wonder if they kind of just misinterpreted what Todd Phillips was trying to do.
Yeah.
Character, this is a sick person. Arthur Fleck, he
Oh
had a
yeah, it
terrible
was.
upbringing, with his
Yeah.
mom.
Yeah.
He was abused. The local authorities should have rescued him from that. Like he just grew up
Oh yeah.
terribly, and he
Yeah.
snapped one day, one bad day, right? And
Hmm.
then, but that wasn't to crown him retro. And I think that's what maybe that's the mixed message there for some people.
Yeah, I mean, I haven't seen the film, so I don't want anyone to get confused whether I watched it or not, and I'm not making
Get
any
her.
comments about I'm not making any comments on whether it's good or bad because I haven't seen it yet. And I do have odd taste, so I think this might be right up my alley because I
Mhm.
love this kind of controversial type of film, and
Mhm.
definitely love looking at perspectives when it comes to these kinds of things. But
Mhm.
I'm very surprised at the score. The cinema score is just like, what? Are you kidding me? Like even in the trailer, you could see the production quality. That's very
Mhm.
insulting to all of the people who worked on this thing.
I agree.
And,
It's lower than Madam Web, just for context, people. That got a C plus.
oh,
That's ridiculous.
this is anger. This is anger speaking. That's what the cinema score is the anger. They're like angry, and they were like, "This is
I'll
our
show
revenge."
you.
Yeah.
Right,
So,
right.
so
That's
yeah,
what it is.
okay.
Revenge of the fan.
I
But
get it. Yes,
and
I
you
get
know what?
it.
It's
Mm,
like I said, people have different opinions, and that's fine. I mean,
mhm.
I'm not gonna you know, be too upset about that. The score is what it is, but the
Yeah.
box office, though, I mean, you can't hide from that, because the cinema
Yes.
score could be terrible all day. And you're like, okay, maybe word of mouth ain't gonna be great, but just no one really was showing up for this film, and that's alarming. And again, it's more domestic side. See,
Mhm.
international showing up for it,
Yeah, they're loving it.
and
Look at the worldwide. Look,
yeah.
okay. So anyway, like I think that now, see, this is what I think about this film. What might happen, and it's like a sort of a pseudo production, or
Mhm.
what they could have done is because I think they allowed too many people to possibly see the film and was able to escape through the grapevine that this wasn't going to go the way people thought it was going to go. And
Mm.
so there had been skepticism ever since we found out that, oh, okay, it's going to become a musical now. Some people were just turned off by the musical aspect.
Yeah,
They did not
yeah.
like that. They did not like it. And some people were a little upset that Todd Phillips came back, and Joaquin Phillips came back for a second one because they're like, I thought you said we weren't going to get another one, and that was the end of the story. And so it does all seem like it was a money grab. There was also
Mhm.
a few rumors that James Gunn and his team got in there and made some changes to the film, and so some people are protesting that, and which I don't know for sure, but that's another piece
Mhm.
of it that I think some people are reacting to as well.
Right.
So,
Yeah.
yeah, this is really interesting. I know that amongst my friends, a lot of people who have seen the movie said that they did like it. I haven't not a
Okay.
whole lot of people said that they did not like it. And
You
so it's good to hear. I'm so glad that you enjoyed it, and
oh, yeah.
I want to see it as soon as it's available for me to see and give it a good, look at it, because I love these kinds of movies. Filmmakers sometimes put secrets in their
Hmm.
films, and so I would love to see if there are any I could find.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah. I
yeah.
think it's definitely more to break down from this film. I had a recent stream where I have
Hmm.
my echo chamber of people that liked it as well, and so I did my echo chamber stream. Then I did where just people that didn't like it. So
Mm,
I
yeah,
try to be fair,
that's
folks. I try to
fair.
cover all sides of this, but
Yeah,
I
that's
totally
fair.
disagreed with the person that didn't like it. But it's like I think you mentioned something that's probably interesting here is that when it leaked out, the ending leaked out. You know,
Yeah.
this was kind of leaked out through even like a trade kind of
Yeah, I knew
hinted
that
towards
a
the
long time
ending.
ago.
And so leading up to it, I wonder if this, because Cinema Score, this is the day one people. They're like, we're here, we like this franchise. And that's why the score really reflects the audience. Cause I mean, hey, a lot of people just didn't
Yes.
like the
Yes.
choices.
Yes.
And I wonder if they walked into it knowing the spoiler or even being blindsided by how this was going to end. Because, like you said, that's an emotional score right there.
It is an
This
emotional.
film, yeah, this film is not below B like level as far as production, acting, the cinematography,
You've gotta see
everything.
more films if you think this is
Yeah,
gonna be a D,
yeah.
right?
That's
Um,
usually I trust cinema score, but like this one, like you said, that's emotion.
yeah,
That's
that's emotional. And I could see, like, if Joker's your favorite character and Harley Quinn is your favorite character, from what I've been hearing is that both characters are completely different from how any of the other iterations. They don't resemble themselves at all. It's
Mhm.
just it's in name only,
Yeah.
and so and this is truly like a almost like an unveiling of the character, of saying he's not, just unveiling the character, um, for the man of who he is, of Arthur
Right.
Fleck. So this. I think the first movie was, if I can summate what I'm guessing from the storyline, is that the first story was about Arthur becoming the Joker, and this story is about Arthur discovering himself again.
No, that's actually a good way to summarize it. And the thing is, a lot of people didn't want that. They didn't want Arthur back.
No.
They
They
wanted
wanted
Joker.
Joker, yeah, they wanted
And
Joker, and they wanted Batman in there somehow.
so how they wanted that. See, that's their own fault right there. But halfway through the film, I gotta say, like,
Yeah.
Todd Phillips really, in a sense, you saw how messed up Arthur Fleck was, and if you're really following the character, you're like, okay, I really
Mm.
don't like this guy. I really don't like some of his choices he's making here.
Yeah,
And then Todd Phillips has a way. He had a way of really having again a character, like you said, discovering himself again. Then you're like, wow, like I can't believe Todd Phillips went that direction in a good way
yeah,
for me.
yeah.
So like I said, people they have their expectations, and one thing I do concede though with
Mm,
the other side of the aisle here is the Harley Quinn argument. I will
mhm,
admit, the first off, Lady Gaga, first off, did great. The musical scenes, I think
mm.
it was really a build up to the end where she just was it was like a great performance, like it
Wow.
really was at the end there. But the Harley Quinn element, I can understand diehard Harley Quinn fans saying,
Yeah,
"Okay, that's not Harley." Like
yeah.
you can get away with that with the Joker, like you did it 5 years ago, but Harley, this isn't Harley, and I actually I will concede with that. Though again, I like the performances.
Mhm.
Um, it's just if you're like again hardcore, I can understand why people are upset with Harley.
Yeah.
This
See,
way.
I see. I really want one of those like deep dive channels to really get into the story and really pick it apart and like figure out what was artistically trying to be done here. Because I
Yeah.
thought with the first movie where they were just really going for this unique take on a classic character, and now like going further down that road did not end up being further down in the rabbit hole, but and
Mhm.
like going to full crazy town, but almost like seems like it just went in a completely different
Yeah.
expected direction. And maybe there was an emphasis or notes for Todd to completely kill off the character and end this. Make
Mm.
it at the end of this movie. There's no reason why anybody would want to see a
Wow. I
Joker
never thought about
3.
that.
Well, because
Mm.
we have a, a possible new DC world coming up, and so you don't want to have
Hmm.
a perfectly great Joker that could just slide in there,
Mm-hmm.
in some other thing. I mean, it kind of makes sense in a way, but also it's a shame if that did happen because, but I don't think either Joaquin or Todd wanted to make a third movie, and
It
and and
seemed
they
like,
were like
yeah.
forced to make this movie. So
Yeah, it seemed like Todd Phillips was kind of tapping out probably, as he started making this film. He's like, okay,
yeah.
like, maybe, I mean, because he had multiple ideas for like different, Elseworld takes of these characters. A Harley Quinn spinoff was actually discussed. I
Yeah.
was reporting that recently. But
Mm,
then I think just something, probably behind the scenes, something killed Todd Phillips' spirit, and he was just like, we're just gonna
whatever,
close
yeah.
this out.
Yeah,
Yeah, I think
and
that's
and
what
it's
happened.
it's it definitely feels like because after the first Joker, every this movie really is alive or exists because fans wanted it and kept going. Hey, are we gonna get another movie? It
Right.
seemed like it was a shame that it ended, and so it was because of the fans that we got this movie, and
Yeah,
so it's very
those the same ones stoning him right now. It's the
yeah.
fans of it.
So, but it's also that, like, maybe that was the whole point of this movie was to completely kill any chances that fans would want another one. So, like,
Yeah.
okay, we did
Yeah.
this one for okay, here you go. Here's here's a movie.
They're like,
And
"Hey, where's Batman?" That's what the people that's upset. Like, he's
where
supposed to be chasing Batman. Like,
did
you did not understand the first film. I'm sorry. Some people just did not understand it because the expectations are crazy. But yeah, Tom Phillips is like, hey, we're going to put an end to this. Now, with the box office, as we mentioned, $200 million production. That's rough. Now, I was told they didn't spend too much on production, not too much. I'm sorry, on marketing.
yeah.
So the break even, the magic number for them is 450, which
Yeah.
they won't make that. They won't. It's really a shame. Like he could have did his artistic, creativity angle with this and still
Mhm.
make a little money. And it even if China booms, let's say China says, "Hey, we do 100 million,"
Oh,
it still
yeah.
won't be enough. It still won't be
Yeah.
enough for that. So that's kind of too bad. It really shouldn't end like that. And going into this new weekend, somehow this
Wow.
low budget Terrifier 3, which I never heard of this film. I
Oh,
never heard of this film, but it's projected to beat out Joker at the box
yeah.
office, which
Yeah.
that's wow.
Well, because I think people are it's the third of of a franchise that,
Mm-hmm.
people are who are interested in that are just, they're gonna be rushing to the aisles for this.
Yeah.
Oh my god, like, I have not seen it, I do not wanna see it because, it does look terrifying. The character I'm like, "No, that's okay, I'll pass."
what's
Um,
wild what's wild with this, it only cost $2 million to make Terrifier 3. And
see?
it's just some kind of crazy rush. And that's it's shock horror, right? So
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
going to be a lot of disturbing things.
mhm,
But for it to be projected to make this much, like it's instant profit, which we always talk about that formula, retro, that
yeah,
you keep
yeah,
the
yeah,
budget down. Now 2 million, like man, I don't know if how many places you can have no like B-list actor if you do $2 million. But it's a franchise I guess people have been following,
yeah.
and it's going to be a fight between the two clowns for who
Ah,
would be who would be number one.
yes.
Going forward to this weekend. A brief shout out to Wild Robot. We talked about that Universal film the previous week. Under $80 million budget for that, and it's what is that? 104 at the moment. So doing great with that, and good word of mouth for that film as well. So have you heard anything else with that? Because it had a little buzz last week. Wild Robot with the cast and stuff. And then you got Lupita Nyong'o and other people involved with that.
Anything, nothing new. It just, same thing. People love it. People are taking their kids to see the movie. It's family friendly. That's about it. And it's one of those movies where we haven't gotten, too many of these fantastic, like fresh new IPs. So people are like, oh my God, it's sort of like a unicorn. So that's pretty much it. We're still in the afterglow of that, and just trying to hope that I really do hope that the Joker gets a little bit more love in the future, because at least people should see it, and at least wants to see if it's any good, or maybe see it twice to see maybe you misunderstood it.
I just wonder if it's like some weird narrative where people are like, okay, because a lot of people didn't show up. Like I said, that first weekend, 40 million was pretty low for the film that they was trying to put out there. I wonder if people like, is it that bad? Like let's check this out.
Give it some time, because maybe at the box office it might turn around. But I think a lot of the influencers has said, hey, this is quote unquote what has been using the word that has been used a lot is trash. It's like, this movie trash, don't see it. It's like every single, it's like that's what, and it's like, oh boy,
garbage.
Yeah. And so like pure hate for this, anger, hate, and that's fine. Like I've watched some movies that have gotten me angry. I'm like, oh, how could they have done that? So it's really understandable, and there should definitely they're valid in their feelings, but also if there are some people who are just curious about it, I mean, it might take them a little while to go to the movie theater and see this. I'm like, you know what? Let's see what this is really all about.
One thing, because I don't want to spend too much time on Joker, but hey, I'm I guess I'm shielding for it. I guess I don't know, but the criticism is almost like people made like a checklist of stuff to say, hey, say why are you mad? Say this, and then it just a lot of the problems people have is what was leaked out. Like, oh my goodness, they did that, before seeing the film. And then they see the film, and hey, I don't know. A lot of people didn't see this film. I'm going to start like wondering a lot of these criticism. Like, did you even see the film? Because that box office is low, so a lot of y'all didn't see this film. That's criticizing it. And it's just this checklist thing. Like, oh, just why they decided to do this to the character and then this. I'm like, okay, if you watch the film, a lot of the things that people are complaining about are literally like seconds and it's over. Like, it's like, oh, that's not even a big part of the film. But just because of that's in the film, you crashing out over the entire 2 hours, like, I'm pushing back on a little BS right there for a lot of people. But you're validating your concerns, I guess.
No. I think that if people really didn't like it, they really didn't like it. But I think also too, like, they may not have the words to say like exactly why. And so then they're just like, everybody's saying that it's trash, I'm gonna say it's trash.
No, I don't accept it.
Yeah, because I mean that's definitely, we're gonna talk about the opposite, like later on, like not liking a movie or a TV show, and then being called names because you didn't you didn't like somebody's offering.
Why not? Let's go.
Oh God!
Good segue. We gotta go with the moment here. With the Acolyte, Jodie Turner-Smith criticizes Disney.
Yes.
Because Disney didn't respond to hateful comments that the cast faced. Now, this conversation here, we just got to kind of address it for what it is here. Like, first off, the Acolyte show was not good. Okay, like, just universally, This isn't like a Joker situation. Y'all had like 6 weeks to make us act like you didn't do it. And the problem I see with a lot of the actors or whoever's trying to push back against it getting canceled and stuff is, you allow these right wingers to win and stuff. It's like, okay, like first, I'm not right winging and I don't like it. So we can't just put everything in a box and be like, okay, why, you don't like it because you fit this group. You know what I mean? It's like, no, like I just wasn't entertained. And you took, again, an IP and bastardized it, basically, in my opinion, as far as with the Jedi. But you got these actors saying, it's all these racist comments and things like that. That's not why people didn't like it. Yes, there's a subsection of people who just waiting anytime a film is announced that stars a woman or someone of color and they want to yell woke, right? We know that. It's very basic. Just a lot of people do it. It's really cheap entertainment for clicks, really, for some people. But there's also they got to come to grips here. The writers and everyone behind the Acolyte is that everyone that didn't like your show are not fitting this character that you're seeing that Disney should speak out on. I don't know. I mean, she made her comments there. Retro, what do you think with that?
Well, I feel a little bit bad for her because she is definitely taking on a lot of this personally, and that's not where a lot of people are coming from with their dissatisfaction with the show. Dissatisfaction with the show is just that, and it didn't. There are some people who have chosen to attack her personally, and I don't doubt that that's happened to her. But I also think that she's completely in her own bubble when it comes to understanding what fans are, and also what the procedure is for these big corporations slash Hollywood studios, what their place is to protect the people that they hire for different jobs. And I think with her is that she has to understand that whatever job that she's taking, what that actually means. So you want to sit down with your agent and actually say, okay, this particular gig, we're dealing with this particular kind of audience, and this is the history of how things are going right now. And maybe we should not take this gig on, especially if the story structure is a little wonky. Now, to give her some credit, to throw another bone back to her, she did say, and I read this article that this came from. It came from Glamour magazine. I read the entire article. And she said that Amandla came to her with like a whole essay about her character, and was really into the character, and that's what made her want to join this particular thing, not the character that she was meant to play, right? Because that's the thing that's supposed to drive you, not. And but she felt like she was excited about joining a team of people doing something that they thought was going to be really good, that they were going to be helping society by doing this thing. It's not, what does that have to do with the story that people saw and didn't like? I follow. This is a when she talks about diversity as well. I'm one of the people that she's supposed to be appealing to. You are supposed to be the people that she's appealing to in this show, right? For Black people, or for the people who are of color, or people, diverse people, and yet we didn't enjoy the show. And that's completely like, you have to understand, like, sometimes people aren't gonna like your stuff. That's just life.
And see, it's sad that it has to be broken down. Like, it's very, very simple to explain, that the reasons why. I mean, it's almost, you leave it up to her. She's saying, oh, if you defend me, then like all Black people are going to like the show now. Like my brain doesn't work like that. I just didn't like the show, Jody.
There
Like that's what.
the most of the Black people that watched the show that I follow did not enjoy the show at all. They had a problem with the story structure. They did not enjoy it at all. And I follow quite a few individuals that are trans that do reviews, and they didn't like it. And gay, lesbian individuals, they didn't like the show
All the
either.
quadrants right there. That's everyone.
Now, when the show was canceled, those guys came out and said, "Hey, that's a shame that the show was being canceled." But I'm like, you can't say that about a property. Um, you can't say that about a property when you know that it wasn't good enough to please the
Right.
large audience. If it's cool for you, and I know there's a lot of people who love the Acolyte, they enjoyed what was happening on there. They love Chimere. Okay, they think he's so hot and sexy and all that stuff. And I'm like, that is really awesome. That's really awesome that you like it and enjoy it. But the rest of us don't have to like it. Look at Francis Ford Coppola, who is a white man. His movie got trashed. Okay.
Yeah, like Joker levels.
Yeah, people were like, they're angry about it too. Zack Snyder, a white
Yeah,
male,
he gets
under
it every time.
fire every day for every project. People are sending him weird notes. People are saying nasty comments about his family. He's still going at it. And it happens to everybody. Look at Jared Leto, another person who's just notoriously hated for whatever reason. I don't know why. He's an excellent actor. He keeps getting hired.
He keeps getting roles, yeah.
Yeah, because he's really good. And the thing is that people are not willing to see that. They're more willing to see they don't like the character, they don't like the actor, and they will hate on him. And unfortunately, she has incurred that on herself with recent comments. These comments don't help. She's made
No.
herself a target by
Yeah.
actually saying this kind of content, and
Yeah.
and that is the shield, or the human shield, that Disney has been putting up for these kind of experimental shows that they're doing. They haven't been doing these shows as professionally as they should, and they're trying out new things. That's great. But unfortunately, when the fans turn on you and say, this is really garbage, it's not what we really want, then who's going to take the blame? The lead actor,
Right.
the lead actress, the showrunner, whoever else wants to stand up and say things like this. She really should, say, I mean, it would have been much better for her to say something like, I really, I wish people had loved the character as much as I did. I could
And
respect that. I'm like, yes, we're talking
but
about
see,
characters again.
these comments though, like what she's focusing on, very specific
Yes.
criticism or a specific experience that a lot of people have. I mean, I don't know if I need to break this to Jody Turner Smith. There's a lot of racist people on social media. You get it just from making
They
little
just,
videos like me. And
yeah.
am I going to say
Yeah.
because if someone thumbs down my video, they're racist and they hate all black people? And it's like, no, that's a silly conclusion to make. So you can't put everything in one box. And
Yes.
then she goes further, say the people with the money, they
Oh
should make
God.
a big statement and see if they lose out on money. Like, okay, this isn't even your money, Jody, that
It's
you're
not
talking
your
about. Like,
money.
so
And
you're
here's the
saying,
other thing that she doesn't understand. The fact that the fans that she's criticizing, those fans, the ones that bought TIE fighters, the ones that bought
Mhm.
1/6 scale toys, the ones that bought posters, the ones that bought all of the different
Mhm.
like products and movies and DVDs, those guys have put in all that money into the company
Yep.
for them to give how much was it? 300
Oh,
million? Uh, how
um,
much?
probably close to it. Yeah, they
Yeah,
was close
for
like
for
that.
for that
Yeah.
show. And
Yeah.
she's living it up, or Her salary that she got from Disney came from the fans.
Exactly. And so it's like to be like, oh, you're not a real fan if you don't like this show. The budget was 230 million, which is crazy for that
Yeah.
type of show. And it was more than Obi-Wan. Like, okay, if you want to spend some money, spend it on Obi-Wan, please, not this stuff. But the problem again, it's the story, the execution. Um, there's plenty of people who have problems with that, not just because of how you looked or your skin color. Again, there are some terrible people out here, and I want to make sure I'm not mixed in with them either. They just want to hate on anything that's not white or male, right? So we're not even talking about that subsection. And people, I will say though, like the viewers and other people, like you do want to be careful you don't get mixed in with that. Like you can have criticisms, obviously, of stuff, but also there are just some weird people. They want to kind of blend in, and they only want to hate on stuff, like this, just without even the story problems. Just this is a black person, this is a woman lead, and I never want to get mixed up. Like I said, I'd say exactly why I don't like something, and then as far as like with diverse leads within Star Wars, you just had Andor. I don't see people attacking Diego. What's his name? Luna. Yeah, he's a Mexican. He's not a white male, and the show did pretty good because people like the story. And again, this is a lesson I guess she still has to learn.
No, I think so too. But how far removed she is from the average person or the average fan, that usually typically has a job or is working many, many different jobs to support families and to save up enough money to buy the next toy or lightsaber or whatever. This one is in this article is eating at an Italian restaurant in London, and which she frequents regularly. And her favorite wine is a dry Sardinian red. And she takes her lobster linguine with a spot of chili flakes ready on the side. Okay.
But the struggle's real, Retro. The
struggle is so real. And that is the problem I'm having here is that there is a complete disconnect with these Hollywood individuals, and it's totally fine for her to live that way, but don't criticize the little person. Don't that we're not watching your show. That's okay. That's our choice. We don't have to watch your show. But of course, if for anyone who's out there saying, hey, they don't like your show and is they have the right to say that about Star Wars. They're talking about Star Wars. They're not personally talking about you. And that's the difference that they have to understand is that it's not personal. But you can't make it becomes personal when you start attacking people that you don't know.
Exactly. And so that's why it's like, there is that subsection. And this is with any fandom, with any piece of medium, you're going to have disgusting people who wants to just, again, show their hate. That's not that's not what we're talking about with the Acolyte, why it was canceled. That little group of people who wants to be disgusting about everything, that's not what got the show canceled. It's the universally everyone decided this wasn't a good story. This wasn't their Star Wars.
Yeah, if the views were there, then this would be getting a season 2.
Yeah.
Okay, we'll be getting a season 2 if the views were there. That's all. And I think they would be willing if the views were kind of okay, but not not great. They were terrible. And so there was sort of a look like, hey, we spent over the budget for even Obi-Wan. This is a Obi-Wan series, okay, was a series led by a white male, and we didn't even give that money to him. And here we are doing something completely different, and it lost so much money. Like, what are we doing?
Like, I don't, like you said, I mean, just her worldview, her, isolated, shielded view of life and she wants to use the black experience. I don't eat in Italian restaurants. I don't. No one
I
in my family frequents that, and then the white
frequents,
man's
yeah.
keeping you down though, huh? You got a lot of money. I don't know who's keeping you down. You were just married
Yeah.
to a white man, but I don't want to get personal with her. But the point is that with Obi-Wan, less than $100 million it took to make that series,
That was
and
terrible. That
even though I have my criticisms, like it's not as bad as Acolyte.
No, well, I mean, when I say that's terrible, I'm talking about the budget. I actually liked Obi-Wan.
Mm-hmm.
I had my criticisms as well. I there were certain things I think they could have tweaked, and with a little bit extra money, and if they weren't trying to do this sort of mission from God thing at Disney, where they're like really messing up storylines to fit certain agendas, it just
Mm,
feels so unauthentic.
right.
And they're not the way they're doing it is they haven't figured out a way to make it authentic feeling,
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
and
yeah,
so
and
also you gotta
mm-hmm.
look at Ahsoka. Ahsoka had a lot of diversity, a lot of diversity, and
Mm-hmm.
it did not have, it had its share of hate, and of course it did,
Oh, of course
and
it did. Yeah.
it wasn't fantastic. I mean, it was comical
No,
in a
it
lot of
wasn't, but it
places.
got a season two.
Yeah,
Season
it
two is
got a
greenlit.
season 2, and there are people who loved it so very much and would fight tooth and nail for it, and the same people are the ones that did not like the Acolyte,
All right,
So,
so we, Jody, we have to like present this like, hey, all these
sorry,
other shows got
I feel
viewership,
bad. Yeah,
just your show.
I feel bad about it that they're taking it this personal, but they can't take it personal. It's gotta be work. Get another gig like this and just
Yeah,
keep presenting yourself and do a great job at acting.
yeah,
And
that's all.
and also ask for that script so you can see what is this movie or TV
Right.
show going to be about, and what is the ultimate message. There really wasn't even an ultimate message for the
Uh,
Acolyte. Was it what was the
um,
what was the point of this?
let's torture Master Soul. That's kind of all I got from the show. Like, let's just torture the best thing you had in the show. This guy, like justice for Soul. We
Yes,
we need to retcon Acolyte and let's have a show with him. I'm just saying, man,
I wouldn't
it's a
mind.
shame because there were things like we said this early
Yes.
on, the
Hmm.
first couple episodes, like, hey, maybe they can go somewhere. We gave it time, and then they
Yes.
dropped the ball. That's just
Yeah.
all.
There were some really great ideas presented, and I really wanted to see this succeed, but it was
Yeah,
it,
but it didn't.
yeah.
So I guess we need a palate cleanser here. Some good news
Yes.
today, I think, for most people is this
Yeah.
is rare on social media where it's like over 75% positive. I would say even 90%. Aaron
Mhm.
Pierre cast as the new Jon Stewart, the first live action Jon Stewart. Technically, Zack Snyder tried to do it, but Warner Brothers, being Warner Brothers at that time, they didn't allow Zack to do it with Wayne T. Carr for the Snyder Cut. But now we
Yes.
got Jon Stewart now with an excellent actor, Aaron
Mhm.
Pierre. One thing I said with this James Gunn world, I was like, okay, first we don't want wacky verse, right? So that's first thing. But then you gotta hire like great, talent, writers, actors, whatever. Then you can get past like, oh, is this a James Gunn thing? Like, don't write everything James Gunn. He didn't write this series. Don't
Okay.
direct everything. He's not directing this series. So this is
Oh,
great.
okay, so he's not
And
writing this. Okay,
no,
great. And,
no, and you have a great
no
actor.
hate to him, because I just so happened to take a small glimpse at a few minutes of Peacemaker, and boy, I'm like, the the raunchy jokes after joke after joke after joke after joke after joke, and I was like, "No."
Keep this man away from DC. Like,
Yeah, I mean, I think
whatever.
it works for Peacemaker. I think it does work for it, but I didn't. I was like, this, I hope this isn't the style we're going with for the entire
Mm,
DCU.
right.
I'm not that excited about the entire thing, to be honest with you. But if there is a part I'm really interested in, the lanterns has been sort of um, a itch I've always wanted to be scratched, okay, so to
Mm.
speak. Ever since the first Lantern, Green Lantern movie that was horribly received, and it wasn't a great movie,
No, it wasn't a
but
good movie.
with with Ryan Reynolds.
No, it wasn't a good movie.
It wasn't good. Ah, man, but the potential
Yeah.
was like, oh my god, why aren't we like stopping everything and continuing with this? At least to like get over the hump and make a better movie. Well, I mean that never
Mhm.
happened, and it seems like Lanterns, the only place where you can really find the good Lantern stories is animated.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think that this is IP city for DC, that they can continue in perpetuity for a
Oh,
long, long,
man.
long time. If
Green
they
Lantern Corps,
Yeah,
the whole Corps. Mhm.
this is Star Wars, right?
Yep,
Its
yep.
own niche of
Mhm.
content, and we've never had it on screen. And this is gonna be, is it a movie or a TV show?
So
TV
it's a
show, right?
series, yeah, on
Yeah.
HBO original. Yeah, so it's going to be, I think it's at like 8 episodes or something like that. Which, yeah, I don't know if you haven't seen the Penguin series, like they got something with this HBO series in DC.
They know how
Like
to
if they
do
take it seriously, yeah.
Yeah, they know how to do live action series, okay?
Mhm.
You can take anything away from them. That is a well-oiled machine. However
Mhm.
they're able to mastermind that. That's I mean, Disney needs to take a look at that. They need to sneak
Mhm.
onto the
Oh
headquarters and
yeah,
try to find out
yeah.
their
Because
secret.
HBO original again when it's serious. Now they got some
Yeah,
goofy stuff, like you mentioned,
yeah,
Peacemaker. That's a
yeah.
little
Oh,
goofy,
that is just
but give me real actors. They got Kyle Chandler playing Hal Jordan.
yeah.
He was from the Friday Night Lights. He's an Emmy award-winning actor. They're taking
Mhm.
this seriously. The
Yeah,
showrunner, he did Ozark. You
yeah.
got Lindelof attached to this as well. So this is going to be a serious show. You
I
know what I
hope
mean?
so. I hope they
Yeah.
take this seriously, and whatever they decide to do with DC, that they just treat this on its own. Okay, like if they want to like have John Stewart in one of the movies, fine, but his home is on HBO as in
Mhm.
this contained world. They really
Mhm.
should make that a um something that they keep, because
Right.
it's definitely something that they have not explored enough in live
Mhm.
action, and we've all wanted to see it. The
Yeah.
technology is here for it, and this will be a great opportunity to tell a really great story, and no spinning the wheels and wasting our times with the like filler episodes, especially with lanterns, because there's so much to tell and so much lore.
Mhm.
So I really hope that they really get into it. And I don't even know
Mhm.
a whole lot about lanterns, but what I do know about it is like, oh my God, there's there's some real merit for really amazing storytelling
Well,
here.
intergalactic space cops, is basically what they
Yes.
are. And so they have different sectors. And you got, again, great after this series. I
Yeah.
want to be, once it gets the numbers right, we gotta be successful out here. And
Yes.
then Green Lantern Corps film, or just do a John Stewart film, whatever. And then with Green Lanterns, what's great about them in the comics, you can do yellow lanterns, red
Yes.
lanterns. Like you have
Yes. Do it all.
so much lore with
Oh,
this that
yeah,
it's not even
yellow
fair.
lanterns. I want to see yellow and red lanterns. And
Yeah.
then
Yeah.
they the other thing that I'm thinking about this is definitely, I I'm not saying that it needs to be serious, but as it has to have the tone that's the opposite of Peacemaker. Like, whatever the
Yes, yes.
Peacemaker is, it's just do the opposite of that, please. Because that was I was like I was
It's total
laughing.
opposite.
It was funny, and but I was just sort of like, "Oh, no. This
They-
where's the kids? Get them out of the room." Because that
uh,
is, you want something this could be family friendly and good, you know what I mean? This could be good.
yeah,
And,
it's essential.
gather the entire family to watch this,
Yeah.
and you're gonna have a nice hit, and so
Yeah, I think this is
uh,
great, and they're putting a lot.
just
They're
crossing my
gonna
fingers.
ride. They're gonna ride the Aaron Pierre casting. Like that's gonna be the draw. I think he's up and coming. He's been in so many things, but this is his time where he's getting a lot of pub, and then you cast him now. Great timing, and
Yes.
they're going into production early next year in Atlanta. So I can't
Mhm.
wait to see some set pics and things like that. This is going to be highly followed. Like social media is on board. Again, it's rare. You got some people that they're mad and stuff. I understand that, but
Well,
but
I
the
I think
majority likes this.
yeah, and I mean, it would have been nice if they had, looked at our boy Wayne T. Carr, but I mean,
Yeah, release that scene, Warner Bros.
yeah, just
Let's see
please
Wayne
just
P.
do
Carr.
that.
Like we
Yeah.
had history right there in the Snyder cut. He just didn't want it.
Yeah. Or even just put him in the show. Just put him in the show, okay? Just put him
Yeah,
in
yeah,
the
yeah.
show.
Why not? We got multiverse. You could do like a from another sector
Yeah.
world. Hey, this is John Stewart over there. I'm just
Yeah.
saying
I mean,
he
because
looked great.
he's definitely a great actor, and then just he looks so great in
Hmm.
as the Green Lantern. So
Hmm.
um we that's something the fans would like, to see. So
Hmm.
who knows what they might do, but for I'm glad they're getting started and they're on the this would have if I were doing DC, this would have been my first thing. Forget about
Yeah,
all the rest of that other stuff. This is
do
what
the
I would do.
lanterns
Lantern
because
first.
you could bring in just so many different sides of the audience with this. It's again a lot of
Oh yeah.
potential, man.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and
potential.
make it
They're gonna spend some
family
money.
friendly. Yeah, make
Yeah.
this family friendly. Don't make it so that way it's only sectored off to
Hmm.
grown up humor. Make
Okay.
it for the family, but also
Yeah.
give it
Mhm.
the edge of being like enticing action
All
and
right.
adventure.
Like
Um,
just make it cool, right? I mean, you got
yeah,
Aaron Pierre. He's gonna sell the heck out of this show. Just make it a cool lantern. Like I want to see
yeah,
the all the power sets and stuff. Like let's just
yeah.
go all in with that, man.
Do you think that they're going for Miami Vice in space?
I think they said how are they trying to sell this as a true detective story? Like they're
Yeah,
investigating something. So it's supposed to be
yeah.
gritty. That's what it's supposed to be. So
Okay, yeah, a little
we
grit
we
and,
shall see.
some adventure. I like it. I
Yeah.
like it a lot.
Yeah, so we'll see. We'll be definitely keeping our eye as that goes towards production, and I guess even further, and looking forward to summer of 2026. Retro went to the future here, talking
Yes.
about movies
I
releasing in
yeah, I
summer
went
of
into my
2026.
DeLorean.
Well, obviously is a few standouts and directors having some films attached to this as well. I guess
Mhm.
what's standing out for you with this list?
Well, definitely, I would say Toy Story 5 looks really
Mhm.
interesting. Moana, is like one I know a lot of other people are interested. I haven't even seen the first Moana, so I gotta get chopping up to that. Shrek 5 is definitely that's exciting as well
Yeah,
because
that's huge.
I've just started catching up with the Shrek movies and they are really good. Um,
Mhm, mhm.
the Mandalorian and Grogu movie,
Yeah,
yes.
that's gonna make a lot of money. That's gonna
Oh
make a
my
lot.
god,
Yeah.
I hope it's cute, I hope it's action-packed, and I hope it's fun. I hope it's a fun ride, that they just
Mhm.
don't forget to have fun with this, because
Right.
that's how you do this. and make Grogu as cute as can be.
So yeah, that's gonna talking about different quadrants. That's gonna sell for sure with that. And I mean, of course, we gotta mention Marvel hopefully getting that groove back. Avengers Doomsday with
Yes,
RDJ.
yes, yes, yes.
That 2026 pretty huge.
Yeah.
Again with the family films, Marvel, and hopefully Star Wars. Like, just don't put out anything else. Just shut down until 2026, and then
Yes.
let that just reboot everything.
Stop it. Like, just calm down and just concentrate on the one movie, please. And
And
if they do anything else, I would accept an animated thing.
That would be interesting. As far as again, Star Wars. I mean, you got the Andor and things like that. They just they gotta take it very seriously what they put out next. Like,
Yeah.
it's just the brand damage is just beyond. And now you got the
Ooh.
actors
Yeah.
attacking Disney, and so it's like y'all just need
the attacking fans and Disney. Oh my god, it's like pure pandemonium.
Yeah, and then of course we definitely got to mention Christopher Nolan.
Yes,
it just announced that he has a new secret film that's not secret, but we don't know what it's about. And I think he has Matt Damon. I think he's got Matt Damon a part of it.
That is so incredible. So it's going to be good. They worked together on Oppenheimer, and Matt was sort of the surprise.
So I did, yeah.
For me in Oppenheimer, playing like sort of the gruff general, and I was like, wow, I've never seen him in that kind of role before. So I think Christopher Nolan knows how to challenge his actors and just like really have them blossom on screen. So I can't wait. I can't wait.
And I think Matt Damon, didn't he pop up in Interstellar for like a few minutes as well with Matthew McConaughey? I think he popped up in there. That's one of the least.
Oh yes, he did. Yeah. Yes, he did. Yes.
That's one of my least watched Nolan films. I just got to be honest. Like, I don't go back to that one too much. I'm more of a Inception, Memento. Of course, the Batman films.
Yeah.
But this Nolan film is with Universal, so they made that very clear. Universal, you're not going back to Warner's. We're gonna give you the full, rollout like you did Oppenheimer. Give you whatever you want. You're not gonna spend too much money, of course, and I think it's gonna be whatever it is. That's how great Nolan is. Like, we don't even know what the film is. It's just we know it's gonna be epic.
We're hyped. We're hyped. I'm at 11. I'm at 11 for my hype meter. So
there we go. We got the hype meter. We got the retro
hype
meter.
Bring that back.
For the Nolan. So 2026, like I said, 2025. Next year, I'm trying to think what kind of stands out. Oh, you got the new Jurassic World Rebirth film next summer. That should be a pretty big one, just for multiple crowds. And Marvel's dumping like about 4 films. So
they are putting out quite a few, right? And Thunderbolts.
You got Thunderbolts, Fantastic Four, Captain America: Brave New World. I guess this is a good time for me to plug my Patreon. I just did a nice little drop. Patreon link should be in the description there. There was a leak about the Captain America: Brave New World. I fact checked it based off just what I heard about the film, and I had to correct a few things, but it appears they're still finalizing the cut. They still got to February, so we'll see how it comes together. But shameless plug. Go join the Patreon. We do cool stuff like that over there. So, and let's get to this story here you was mentioning.
Yes.
Chris Pine, Princess Diaries. Gotta say, my knowledge on this ain't the best, but I guess he appeared in the previous installment of this.
Yes, and Princess Diaries 2. He was the love interest at the end. They kind of get together. And so people were wondering, oh, we just heard that the Princess Diaries is going to have a third movie. Are you going to be in it? And he's like, he never said no. That's the thing that I noticed. I forgot what interview it was, but he was on a nighttime interview and a couple of different shows. And he on both of the shows, he just wouldn't answer if he was gonna be in it or not. But then he says, "I don't know, ask Disney," at some point.
Sounds like negotiations. That's what that sounds
Yes,
like to me. Like,
yes.
obviously he's interested,
Yeah,
but he can't say anything right now. Yeah.
yeah. So which is kind of a shock that that they have not, like, said, "Hey, you're in it for sure." And it might be to do with negotiating, like, salary
Mhm,
and stuff like that. I mean, if they don't need to pay a big star like Chris Pine,
mhm,
we then they don't have to, you know what I mean? They could not have to do that. But also it's because they've got Julie Andrews, is she still
mhm.
around? She's still here, isn't she?
She's still. I'm not sure.
Oh, no. Okay, well, they've got, Anne Hathaway that they have to,
Right.
um
For the franchise, you gotta lock her in before you
yeah.
even before you even announce anything with that.
Let me see, 'cause, and there seems to be, a book about it. This is just so weird. Why he isn't in the 3rd movie is just kind of weird. But it feels like a feeler, right? Like, okay, Chris, we're not
Mhm.
sure, so go out there, tell the public that you might not be in the movie, and let's see if we need to put you in the movie, which is kind of weird. And you would announce Princess Diaries 3 after you've written the script, right?
Yeah, exactly. Well,
That would be my
so normally, right? Like, there's different ways stuff is greenlit. Like, they literally could be just like, I always go to the example of Mahershala Ali and Blade. They're like,
yeah.
"Hey, Mahershala, you want to do a Blade film? Okay, it's greenlit. Like, there's no script yet. Blade's coming." So that's like the worst case scenario where you have nothing really planned. We just have our star. With Anne Hathaway, I want to say they had to have some kind of script or something for her to say, okay, I would do it. You know what I mean? Before you green light it. So we'll see. Yeah, we'll see how that goes.
Yes, yes.
Uh, Overall,
So
there's
there are several celebrities in there, including Julie Andrews, who's going to be pricey to get, and um, Chris Pine is not on the list so far, but he should be. But
hmm,
unless they have a storyline where they can write him out of the story, but he wants to do it,
yeah.
and the fans want him to be in it because that would be great.
Yeah,
So
he suggested call Disney about it. So again, this sounds like totally negotiations.
yeah,
I'm
this is
pretty sure they reached.
negotiations.
If they got all these other past people, they reached out to his team, and it's probably they're just like, "Oh, that number ain't looking too good. Let's,
Yeah.
let me know if you're serious about it." So, yeah,
Yeah,
we'll
no,
see.
he's been on a couple of shows, and they're like, "You are the Princess Diaries," and I'm like, "Oh, snap!" He says, "Oh, thank
Wow,
you."
that's deep. That's deep. But we will see. I'm sure Retro will update us when we find
Yes,
out if
I
Chris
can't
Pine is a
wait. Yes,
part of it.
this is so
Yeah.
juicy.
Now, another announcement here, which I think is pretty cool. We'll pull up the article here. Will
Yeah,
Smith and Michael Bay eyeing a reunion on Netflix action pick Fast and Loose. Um,
yes,
what could this film be about? It sounds like a Fast and Furious type thing, or Back to Bad Boys 2 type thing.
yeah, yeah. It might be like a cop, story, fast and loose. Not
Right, right.
sure what it's going to be yet, but it's just kind of exciting to have those guys work together. They've kind of sort of hit a point in the zeitgeist where there's a lot of negativity towards Michael Bay because of the way he films movies, and there's been negativity towards Will Smith for the Oscar I happenings, and so try to be as tactful as possible. And
Right.
we've gotten that wonderful hit, Bad Boys, and that was sort of the test. Like, okay, can he do a movie and people still accept it? in a positive way, and it went over very well. So now, working over at Netflix, where you have a lot of leeway, movies are exist there, but they also have a way of being hidden there too. So if you can do something small on Netflix that doesn't, like, oh, we got to do a big red carpet and like hoopla, but also it keeps them working. So I want to see what this is about and see how this turns out. I
Yeah,
think it's good for both of them, to be honest.
it says here, Fast and Loose follows a man who wakes up in Tijuana with no memories, pieces together his past. He learns he's been living two lives: one as a crime kingpin, other as an undercover CIA. As the script writers from the Meg and the Meg 2. I not even too familiar. I know those films, but I can't speak on the films. But I like the premise, and it's Will Smith.
Yeah. Yeah, the Meg 2, they're like low budget movies with Arnold Schwarzenegger, I believe. Yeah, this is the perfect kind of project. I thought the
That's
Meg
what
had.
Jason Statham. Yeah, Jason
Oh,
Statham
Jason
is in those
Statham. Yeah,
couple films, yeah.
sorry.
Close enough.
Close enough. Anyway, we're kind of close.
I'm sold on this premise, though. I mean, like Will Smith, like,
Yeah.
he's waking up, he has these two lives. Like, yeah. You already sold me. I want to see it. Yeah.
Yeah. I think it's and like I said, since they've gone through a lot in their careers, and they're kind of at this weird spot. Go for it. You got nothing to lose at this point.
Yeah, and with it being on Netflix and just the new direction on Netflix, they don't want to spend too much money on these
Yes.
films. So this is probably more of a character study type of thing.
Yeah. Well,
That they're
I
going to
mean,
do with it.
also, um, as far as Michael Bay is concerned, he really, where he started with lower budgets. So I think he knows how to make a good film, and he's connected. So one thing about these filmmakers, as they get older and they're really connected to a lot of people, will do favors for them for free almost. So we may find some surprising elements in this that might be like, oh, this looks a lot more expensive than it is.
Interesting. So we'll definitely see how that comes about. Fast and Loose, Will Smith and Michael
Yes.
Bay teaming up again.
Yeah,
Last thing
they had some footage of Will Smith this summer, like jamming out with a whole bunch of people. So I think some people like him again.
I think like you mentioned after the last Bad Boys and just how that was received. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That you saw. I mean, yes, you're gonna have that small group that's like, why'd you slap Chris Rock? They're never gonna forgive him for that.
Yes.
And then he got
That's
a
a
lot
good
of backlash
question.
just for with Jada Pinkett put out the book. Will Smith
Yes.
got a lot of backlash from that. So it's
Yeah.
like he survived those moments. And he did say he did get help too after the whole Chris Rock thing, which is good for him. But that last Bad Boys did great, box office wise, word of mouth wise. So
Yes.
yeah, I think people are ready for just Will Smith to do whatever he's been doing. Just go ahead and just keep
More
your hands to
acting
yourself.
kid.
That's all.
Yeah, just please.
This is on the slapping people about that. But so yeah, looking forward to that. Last thing we want to jump into, you got this trailer. Complete Unknown is a film.
Yes.
It's a film with Timothy Chalamet.
Yes.
He's playing Bob Dylan, I believe. That's what it is, like
Yes.
a biopic.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Let's start this from the top. All right.
You tramped all the way from Minnesota.
If you're traveling in the North Country Fair,
well, I like your songs.
Where the winds hit heavy on the borderline, remember me. How about that Joan Baez, folks?
Well, she's pretty. Sings pretty. Maybe a little too pretty.
Your songs are like an oil painting at the dentist's office.
If you go with snowflake storm, when the rivers...
It's not a stage. You have to kind of be a freak. You can be beautiful or you can be ugly, but you can't be plain.
To keep her from me.
I hear Bob is playing electric.
Then you.
Well, this is gonna piss some people off.
People come.
You came here with nothing but a guitar.
I want to know which side he's on.
I'm not sure they want to hear what I want to play, Johnny.
Johnny Cash.
I want to hear it.
How does it feel? Alone. Like a rolling stone.
All right, Complete Unknown. Searchlight Pictures. This is James Mangold. I had to double take that. I was like, oh, he's doing a small film like this. James Mangold did the last indie film, Logan, all that other stuff. So he's doing this Bob Dylan biopic based off of a book, a 2015 book of his story. So I guess it's supposed to be, pretty accurate. You got also Ed Norton. I think that's always a win. You have Ed Norton in the film. So,
I know, right?
And Timothy Chalamet's got the hair pieces and stuff going on. I think this.
And it sounds like he's actually singing this song.
Interesting.
Because it sounds like it's his voice that's being is singing the song, as somebody who sounds close to what he would sound like as a singer. It's not because some people, some biopics, they'll take the actual song from the singer and then just lip sync to it. Sort of like how Angela Bassett did for What's Love Got to Do with It.
Okay, the Tina Turner.
So it looks like he's actually playing and singing. So that is, I think we could be looking at some Oscar nominations for this movie.
This definitely an Oscar grab. Was a Christmas Day it comes out, so you got the these types of biopics. You make your money around that time. And like I said, James Mangold, I want to say he's writing this. Well, he's basing it off of the book, but he's listed as a director, obviously, but I don't know if he's writing anything of this as well. Johnny Cash, that whole I don't know the backgrounds that much with Bob Dylan and Johnny Cash, but I'm more of hey, let me kind of Timothy Chalamet is a good actor. That's the point I'm trying to make, and so that's gonna get me interested in this type of film, and I may learn a little thing about the past.
Yes, yeah. I mean, I do love these biopics, and the one for Elvis was just so good that Baz Luhrmann did, and it's definitely a different kind of style. Like this is a very more naturalistic. Seems like. We're not talking about high glitz and glamour, and Bob Dylan was never like that. But it's really cool to see Timothy in yet another one of these iconic roles. I mean, he's just building up such a great portfolio of work. Again, I wouldn't be surprised if they're let's throw this little kid a bone and give him an Oscar.
That would be interesting. At least a nomination.
At least a nomination. Because usually, sometimes with really young actors that are really good, they make them wait forever. But he's really he might be. I mean, this looks like it's Oscar material. Let's just hope that the rest of the story really works well together. That the entire production is this way.
Yeah. And like I said, with James Mangold, he did write the screenplay for this. So usually when he directs, he writes it. So Mangold, again, he's showing a different side to me as well. That he wants to do something like this. Again, Searchlight Pictures. So it's gonna be, again, this is Oscar bait.
This might be Oscar time for Mangold too. So
yeah. Sometimes you gotta do that because he had a tough experience with the indie film, Indy 5. And sometimes you gotta just kind of strip it down. That's kind of what The Rock did. We talked about The Rock and $7. They tried to swing for DC, and it didn't work out the way they wanted. So now he's doing the Smashing Machine and character studies like that for the film. And with Timothy Chalamet, like you said, the work that he's building up. I believe he said he received advice a couple of years ago to not do a superhero film.
Yeah.
So he's kind of just trying to stay out there doing these different things, not to get typecast. Because his name, is enough right now. Actually, with some of these lower budget films, and a good story, that's a formula to make a little money. With him right now.
Because I mean, you can always go for the glitz and the glamour of a big Hollywood blockbuster, and that's great, and that's gonna that's gonna put your kids through college. But it's also good to have this kind of curated portfolio, as I mentioned before, like where for sure, when you look at all of his movies in the past, they've been very, very good, interesting characters, next movie that you see him in, you're like, okay, I know this is gonna be high quality, so that's why I'm kind of looking at this like, wow, this looks like it's gonna be good.
Looks pretty good. Yeah, looks pretty good. I'm gonna be keep my eye on that. Around holiday season, and we'll see how that goes overall. So those were the topics for this week with Retro. Always fully well-rounded, different types of audiences. So that's always works for us here. As we always ask, is there any watch parties or anything you got coming up?
Oh, yes. This Saturday, I'm going to be watching Coraline from 2007, which is the movie about the girl with buttons for eyes. Something like that. Her mom has got buttons for eyes. It's just so creepy and weird. And I can't wait to watch it.
I just saw this just browsing the other day. I didn't sit and watch the whole film, but it's on Tubi, folks. So if y'all gonna watch this with Retro, just jump on Tubi. It's free.
Tubi, yes. And also remember, it came out in theaters a few weeks back, and so it's just one of those things where I was like, I'm missing out on some good old fashioned cinema loving here. So let's just brave the buttons for eyes and the spiders and just watch this thing.
Right. Well, definitely, we'll definitely try to keep our eyes open for everything Retro does. Her link will be in the description every time you see her on our platform here, and definitely with our week-to-week show. I can't say weekly because I take breaks and stuff, but it happens.
Yes.
But I'm trying to get this on multiple platforms like on X, Twitter, obviously on YouTube, and definitely I'm thinking of other. I'll just say I'm thinking of other platforms to take this to the next level.
Platforms? Oh my goodness!
I got major ideas, major plans with Retro.
Oh, that's wonderful.
But no, definitely, this is always a blast.
You have my blessing on that. Whatever you pick, I'm gonna love. I'm sure, and I'm gonna love it.
We'll definitely see what stories come up next with that. For myself, Sil Abdul, here with Retro Nerd Girl. Check us out week to week. We'll be.